your most important piece of clothing in your closet is your cloak of humility. You need to write this down. In 32 plus years of business and in my little teeny tiny 49 years of life, I'm telling you that humility is our superpower. I'm not going to go into details of how, what, where. We can have a conversation about that, and I have before another time. If you want to know what your most important superpower is, your most powerful, consistent, successful, reliable, utterly dependable and predictable tool in your arsenal in the game of life, it's humility. And I have something called that I call a sachet. It is what Americans call a duster. I just don't think that the person who gave the name to that item of clothing is strong enough for a beautiful long cloak that can sachet as we walk down the runway of our own lives. Let me tell you something about the cloak of humility. Humility will keep you hungry. The word humility is actually, the description and the definition is a modest or low view of your own self-importance. Think about that for a minute. It's a modest or low view of how important you are. So, and usually self-importance and arrogance is rooted in complete insecurity. How do I know that? I used to be like that. I used to have to prove myself. I had to do things and win accolades and win awards, and because that's was my only experience really in life of she's good, we love her, we want more of her. And so I worked myself to a standstill many times and into depression and burnout and all kinds of crap. But humility is a modest or low view of your own self-worth. And I have tried life both ways. And how does this affect your style? Because, well, let me tell you something. Humility is a condition of the heart, and your spirit of beauty is a condition of the heart. It starts on the inside. I can teach you fashion all day long. But if you don't know about humility, if you don't know about the spirit of beauty, the foundation upon which that rests, and the image in which you were created, I can teach you fashion all day long. It will not stick. It will not be sustainable, and you'll go back to your old ways, and you'll be recruiting a personal stylist or an image consultant later down the line because your spirit of beauty has not taken root and taken hold and being acknowledged for who she is. And yes, she is a big, living, beautiful, breathing thing that must breathe and live life with you. You are in the game of life, whether you like it or not. You're surrounded by people on your team and those who come against you. And you are in the fashion business, whether you like it or not. You live in a world that is highly visual, powerful, and is a world that is that admires and respects a spirit of excellence, because that is in your very DNA. That's how you're designed, with a spirit of excellence. It's why you love the Super Bowl. It's why you love watching the Olympics. It's why you love rugby and all the other sports and endeavors that people excel at. Excellence is about excelling. Excelling is outstanding, is standing out, okay? All the people who excel stand out. Why then don't you want to excel in how you look? Why then don't you want to excel in how you dress? How you do one thing should be how you do everything, says one of my business coaches, Sam Ovens. How you do one thing is how you do things. Many successful, really, really peaceful, productive, successful people at the top of their game in life say that. Why would you want to be excellent in your craft, in your business, but not in how you dress? It doesn't make sense. Something has happened in that area if you don't want to dress well. If you go, oh, well, I don't have to dress well. God cares about what's on the inside. Yes, he does, but you are so freaking wrong if you think it's not the outside as well. It's not biblical, actually, what you're saying. And if you are saying that you're leading people down the wrong path, maybe your children, and that's not okay. You need to really get back and find humility in the depths of your heart and in your spirit. It has got everything to do with your beauty, your identity, your style, your confidence, your self-esteem. And self-confidence and self-esteem are two very, very different things. And there is good news about self-confidence, but that's another conversation again for another time. Humility. When I wear my sachets, I'm like, I have to physically wear it. And if I'm going into a tough situation, that I'll wear that. I dress with intention because I know the power of personal style. So humility is a low or modest view of your own self-importance. And that's going to keep you hungry. And being hungry means you want to learn to be excellent and to excel. And the other thing that it produces is it's going to keep you learning. It's going to keep you learning. You will know, humility will help you to learn that you can learn from a 5-year-old, a 95-year-old, an atheist, a Buddhist, anybody. If you have an open mind and an open heart that is rooted in humility, it's like, what can I learn today from whoever I'm going to encounter? What can I find online? Because just because we live in a COVID season or a pandemic doesn't mean that we can't connect, doesn't mean that we can't do business, that we are the most adaptable creatures on the planet. Something comes our way, we're like, we pivot and we excel and we turn and we create and we innovate. It's who we are by nature. So there's no excuse for saying, oh, I've got nowhere to go, or nobody sees me. Well, if you say nobody sees me and I'm not going to dress up at home, you just called yourself a nobody. You're not a nobody. So humility is going to keep you learning, and it's going to keep you strong. At the age of 49, going on 50, I am always surrounded by books, by coaches, and I'm very, very, very particular about who I coach with, who I take advice with, whose input I let into my life. Very, very, very discerning about that. I have made enough mistakes to learn about that. And I learn all the time because it keeps me humble, because I think my coach, Danny Johnson, my coach and mentor for 8 years, said 8 years ago, she said, that which you think you're good at, you will never master. And I'm like, dang it. I think I'm pretty good with what I do in terms of my business, my communication training, turns out I wasn't as good as I thought. And when it comes to personal style, I'm a style coach. I'm an image consultant, and I do very well. But if I think for a minute that I can't learn something, then I am my own ceiling. Now I'm keeping my clients here. Humility. Humility is going to keep you from being cocky about that which you have achieved. You may want to write that down. I had to write that down some years ago. It's going to keep you from being cocky about that which you have achieved. I wrote down a couple of other things here. So I talk a lot with my clients about when you're facing something, a challenge, or there's fear, or there's trepidation about something, you must just act in accordance with your spirit of identity. And you must act in accordance with your spirit and with your identity, which is what? Your identity says you have a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. So if you're not sure what to do, if you act in accordance with your identity, which is be powerful. The righteous are as bold as a lion, be bold. You have self-discipline. We have these things. We think we don't, or some people are more organized or more disciplined. No, they're not more self-disciplined. They just exercise it more. Your self-discipline, like your humility, is a muscle. It just needs exercising. And one of the other things I wrote down here was to role model to our kids. What does that look like? Humility. When you build a business or you do something valuable and worthwhile and you start getting up, dressing up, and rising up, without a doubt, let me tell you with a guarantee, I look you in the eyes, people will come against you, the most unlikely people, the people you think are the closest to you. They will come against you. They will steal your ideas. They will go off and make money from the vision that you trustingly shared with them some years ago, and people will slander your name and they'll come against you and you'll be hurt. And that is a fact of life that I've been in business for a long time. It happens. And when I stepped out with my business, Linda Page, some years ago, man, oh man, did the slaughter come by way of slander and gossip and malice, and just because not everyone is going to be for what you're doing, and some people are going to be around you just to, anyway, that's just a distraction. Humility is the only thing that's going to get you through that. It is, because the other alternative, which I've tried years ago in life, is to get down in the gutter and fight that fight. It's a distraction. It's exhausting. You're going to lose time and money and sleep over it. It's not worth it. Like my business coach, Sam, says, keep the main thing the main thing. Everything else becomes a distraction. Be ruthless with culling your closet and who you hang out with. I have become very, very discerning about that. Learn to say no, all of these things. But when it comes to your superpower, I just want to tell you today, at the end of my Sunday, I had a call with someone amazing, and before I got on, I knew I would need humility for this, and getting off, I'm like, yep, it is just the most dependable gift that God has given us, is to be humble. So you need to search your heart when it comes to your beauty and your confidence and how you present yourself, and how you so many of us want to go and change the world and help others. And I don't know, are you getting up, dressing up, and putting your best foot forward? Are you demonstrating excellence in your life? How are things at home behind closed doors as opposed to on camera, on stage, and doing everything that you do? And if you're rising up and doing that, I salute you. It's hard work and it takes courage and it's not easy. But humility will help you, and humility will pull you back and go, hang on a second, I'm not self-important to the extent that I've got to keep on proving myself, or that I've got to keep on saying yes to these interviews, or that I've got to keep, none of that. None of that. Humility is going to increase, this is the most important point, is going to increase the intimacy of your relationship with your Father, your Creator. That is absolutely the first and the best and the biggest fruit that comes out of humility. So I just wanted to hop on and share with you that your spirit of beauty, yes, it's an inside job. And yes, it's an outside job, 100% inside or 100% outside. Your inside is not disconnected from your outside. Connect with us on Facebook at Dress to Connect if you want to learn more and get involved in our free webinars, our challenges, our events. We are women who get up, dress up, and lift up, especially other women, because you are called to be a bold light on a hill. And the boldest shining light that you can ever shine from the inside out is humility. Nothing trumps that. Nothing will ever be more powerful than that. Nothing. That is biblical, and it is what it is. And so, but you have to exercise it. You have to practice it. And when you're hurt in the flesh, the most powerful way to get through that, whilst you work through the grief and you work through the pain, is also to seek humility. It has just been one of my most dependable, beautiful sources of power in my whole life. Just wanted to share that with you. It has everything to do with your personal style and your beauty.